if I told you that food as medicine research is revealing that something as simple as an orange could lower your risk of depression? These researchers looked at a huge number of women from the Nurses' Health Study, and they found that those who ate had a 20% lower risk of depression and loss of memory, one of the first signs of cognitive deficiency or maybe even dementia. The scientists found that riboscolin also it helps to improve memory. Now, ask your question first. Are you breathing through your nose or breathing through your mouth? Bet you might not have even thought about that. There is a way to breathe that can put you in a better mood. Today I want to talk about something that we should all be thinking about because we live in a super stressful world, and that's something we should be thinking about is depression. Now, depression is an actual health challenge. It's a big one, not just a mental health challenge, but it actually impacts your physical health. And the reason is, if you're feeling down mentally, you're not your usual lively self, and if you're not able to engage with your regular activities, there's a good chance that you're not also taking good care of your physical health as well. So this is how, when you hear about the gut-brain connection, here is the brain and the rest of the body connection, all right? But what if I told you that food as medicine research is revealing that something as simple as an orange or a bowl of spinach could lower your risk of depression? Okay, so in this video, I'm going to give you 3 ways to help you get in a better mood using a fruit, a vegetable, and as a bonus, I'm going to tell you about a way to breathe that'll get you into a better mood. Are you ready? Let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about the fruit. Oranges. I love oranges. I grew up eating them. There's so many different kinds that are out there. Tangerines, mandarins, cara oranges, navel oranges, juicy, sweet, packed with dietary fiber, really good for gut health, all right? And the best part, I can get oranges year-round, and probably you can as well. Scientists at Harvard showed that eating citrus like orange can decrease the risk of depression. And here's what they did. These scientists looked at 32,427 women from a large group of people called the study called the Nurses' Health Study, and examined what these women ate and whether or not they had depression. And these researchers also looked at their gut health, specifically what healthy bacteria were in their microbiome. Now, we know that the gut's connected to the brain. This is the gut-brain axis, as I mentioned, and it's not just cognition, you know, your executive function, how well your memory is, but also it's your mood as well. And so here's what the researchers found. They found that those who ate citrus, more oranges, had a 20% lower risk of depression, and their gut microbiome changed. And the way the gut microbiome changes is that there's 15 bacteria that changed, and one of them, called Faecalibacterium prausnitzii, or F. prausnitzii, actually makes a metabolite when you feed it oranges, okay? And that substance, that metabolite, is called SAM, S-adenyl L-methionine, all right? So what does the SAM thing do, right? Well, SAM causes the body to make more of the neurotransmitter called serotonin, and another one called dopamine. These are exactly the neurotransmitters that, when it reaches the brain, helps counter depression, makes us feel better. It's the counterweight, all right, to depression. So again, let me pull this together for you. It's kind of like a series of dominoes, or you stack up and you knock one, boom, 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 boom. All right, so this study showed eating citrus like oranges helps the gut grow more healthy bacteria, F. prausnitzii, which then makes more SAM, S-A-M, which then helps the body make more of the happy hormones, serotonin and dopamine, and which actually is associated in this study with women having a lower risk of depression. Now, that all makes sense, right? And that's really how this research kind of works, is that you have to sort of do the observations, do the calculations, see if it actually makes sense. Is there a mechanism? Are we measuring the right things? And then try to put the whole story together. What is fascinating is that the researchers found that this beneficial effect that's specific to citrus wasn't actually found with other fruits, right? So they also looked at apples. Nope, No effect on depression, no effect on F. prausnitzii. They looked at bananas, right? Another common fruit that people eat. Nope. Bananas did not actually improve mood, did not actually improve the gut microbiome. With F. prausnitzii, did not actually increase SAM. All right. So citrus, orange, remember that. Okay. Now, this Harvard study was done in women. So you might say, all right, well, what about men? Well, other researchers have done similar studies in men and found similar results. So what's the practical tip that I have for you? Well, don't hesitate to eat some citrus every day, right? Now, I like to eat a whole orange, for example, in the morning when I get an orange from the market. I peel it off. If it's a tangerine, it's like a great burst of flavor. It is very sweet, but that's okay. You're getting the polyphenols like hesperidin, narogenin that are also in oranges, not just the fructose in the sweetness in orange. You're also getting hydration, water, very, very important for your kidneys, your overall hydration status, which is cardiovascular, brain. But you're also getting dietary fiber by eating the whole fruit, the slice of the fruit. I don't eat the peel. All right. You also get the dietary fiber that's actually in that, the skin of a slice of orange, right? It's kind of chewy, but you want that. That actually is dietary fiber that feeds your gut microbiome. And from that study shows it changes 15 gut bacteria, including F. prausnitzii, which actually helps your body produce more serotonin and dopamine, which lowers the risk of depression. Shall we talk about the second food? Second food is spinach. You remember that cartoon character, Popeye the Sailor Man? Popeye loves spinach, and in that cartoon, Popeye was eating spinach to grow his muscles, all right? But now, new research shows that spinach is good because not only does it actually help you grow better muscles, which it can, but it also puts you in a better mood. Who would have thought that, right? Turns out, spinach contains some natural chemicals that communicate directly with your brain. And this is where this research came from, Kyoto University. So scientists from Kyoto University did a lab study, all right? And in the lab, they discovered that spinach contains a peptide. That's a small protein, small piece of a protein. And that peptide is called rubiscolin 6, rubiscolin, and the number 6. So this is a small piece of a protein found in spinach leaves, all right? And it comes from a bigger plant protein that spinach plant makes called rubisco. So rubisco gets cleaved up in the spinach leaf into rubiscolin 6. And then guess what? When you eat spinach, whether you eat it raw in a salad or when you saute it, I actually like sauteed spinach a lot, then you're actually going to be able to get this good stuff that affects the brain. I'm going to tell you about that in 1 second. But what does a plant do with rubisco, right? Like, it's always good to ask the question, like, why is that even there? Well, it turns out rubisco is used by the spinach plant for photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, if you remember from maybe grade school, elementary school, is really how plants process sunlight to get energy, right? So you've got spinach growing in a field. It's low to the ground, but still got to get sunlight. Rubisco helps the plant, the spinach leaves, process the sunlight. And in the leaves, there's an enzyme that cleaves that rubisco into a smaller piece called rubiscolin 6. All right, now let's talk about what rubiscolin 6 does to the brain. Well, when you eat some spinach, rubiscolin 6 gets absorbed from your stomach into your bloodstream, and once it's in your blood, goes to your brain, right? So, and that rubiscolin 6 goes to your brain and activates dopamine D1 receptors in the brain. Now, what's a receptor? A receptor is kind of like a catcher's mitt. It actually is stimulated by peptides, by proteins. So basically, think about a radar dish, that's the catcher's mitt, in the brain, waiting for rubiscolin 6, all right? You eat the spinach, it goes in your bloodstream, it goes up to your brain. Now here comes the rubiscolin 6 right into the catcher's mitt, okay? And it activates that receptor. So once that receptor's got the rubiscolin 6, it sends a signal right down into the cell and it tells the cell to do something, all right? So in this case, it's the dopamine receptor that is the catcher's mitt. Rubiscolin 6 goes to the dopamine receptor, D1, activates the brain cells, and the dopamine is used by the brain to stay calm, keep you in a good mood, make you happy. a reward for doing something beneficial, like eating your spinach, okay? And by the way, besides being a reward neurotransmitter, dopamine has anxiolytic effect. Anxiolysis basically means, like we all have a certain level of anxiety about something. You don't have to just be studying for a test or waiting to get married or doing something that would naturally make people anxious. We're anxious a lot about a lot of things, okay? Now, dopamine has an anxiolytic effect, which means that it basically cuts into anxiety, breaks it in half, and so you're a little bit less anxious. So when you actually have ruboscolin eaten from spinach, you activate those dopamine receptors, you're actually also making yourself less anxious. Happier, less anxious, that's a good formula. There's some other studies about ruboscolin I want to tell you about. There's another study, also from Kyoto University, where the scientists found that the spinach ruboscolin also it helps to improve memory. Who doesn't want to have better memory, right? It's not just, what did I do with my car keys? It's like, wait a minute, what is on my to-do list I got to do? What kind of things do I need to plan? Wait a minute, what have I done already? Well, I want to have good memory, right? And by the way, one of those things that happen during aging is we tend to have poorer memory. That's something we observe a lot. Nobody wants that, right? And sometimes loss of memory or difficult with memory is one of the first signs of cognitive deficiency or maybe even dementia. So keeping your memory is always really, really good to be able to do. Everybody wants it. Okay, so what's my practical tip when it comes to what I just told you about spinach and ruboscolin 6 and dopamine, all right, and memory? Here's the thing. Eating spinach is good for more than muscles. It's good for the brain. It's good for your mood, makes you feel happy, lowers the risk of the kind of risk that you would have with depression. What about cooking spinach, right? You can eat raw leaves, but cooking is okay. Ruboscolin will survive cooking heat, but just cook it very lightly, all right? If you ever cook spinach, you know that you put these spinach leaves right into a hot pan, a little extra olive oil, maybe a little bit of garlic, all right? The leaves will wilt really fast. It'll turn kind of bright green, then darker green, then the leaves wilt. They release their juices, they release their water. Now you're done. Don't keep cooking it. Just like any vegetable, as you might imagine, if you overcook it, you super wilt it, you cook it to death, you're also going to destroy the polyphenols, and in this case, the proteins. Ruboscolin will also be destroyed. I always say when you're cooking spinach, and I like to cook spinach, saute it lightly. Don't boil it. Don't overcook it. All right. Just remember, super hot heat. Overcooking can destroy that ruboscolin, and that ruboscolin actually activates the dopamine receptors in your brain and actually puts you in a better mood. I promised you I'd give you a bonus tip. So are you ready for it? This is the bonus tip for getting into a better mood. That bonus is breathing the right way. Now, nobody teaches us how to breathe, right? And actually, you can go to yoga class and do breath work, and in order to be able to learn how to breathe better, okay? But there is a way to breathe that can put you in a better mood, right? So, I'll ask you a question first. Are you breathing through your nose or breathing through your mouth? But you might not have even thought about that. Most of us do a little bit of both. Some people are nose breathers. Some people only breathe through their mouth. But here's the reason that you need to know this. When you breathe through your nose, it does something amazing. Putting air through your nose into your sinus cavities turns on your body's own nitric oxide factory right inside your sinuses, like right behind your nose, your paranasal sinuses. They are factories to make nitric oxide. Now, what is nitric oxide? I'm not talking about nitrous oxide, that's laughing gas. Not talking about that. Nitric oxide is a serious molecule with a big job to do, all right? Nitric oxide, made by the body, relaxes your blood vessels, which lowers your blood pressure. And because your blood vessels are relaxed, you get better blood flow everywhere in your body. Your brain, your heart, your muscles. And by the way that Viagra and Cialis works, for treating erectile and sexual dysfunction, it causes blood vessels to dilate with nitric oxide, so you get better blood flow. So this is really important. Nitric oxide made by your own body relaxes your blood vessels and brings better blood flow forward. Nitric oxide also reduces inflammation, which, as we all know, is a root cause of many chronic illnesses. Lowering inflammation, just a generally good thing. We need a little bit of inflammation to knock out like injury, bacteria, all that kind of stuff after you get a cut or a wound. But you want that inflammation to go up and go down, turn on and then turn off. All right. When you've got too much chronic inflammation, that's a setup for disaster across almost every organ system in your body. Nitric oxide is one of your body's natural ways to lower inflammation. Nitric oxide also supports your immune system. Now, we all know how important a good immune system is. Good to fight bacteria and viruses from outside of our body, right? Think about it. You're sitting in a bus or a subway or an airplane or train or in a grocery store line and somebody next to you is hacking up a lung, coughing and sneezing and sputtering. Guess what? They're putting viruses and bacteria right into the air, right in front of you, and you're breathing it in. Strong immune system will keep you from getting infected, all right? Or at least lower your chances of getting infected. You want to have the best possible immune system. And a good, strong immune system does something else super important that you may not have thought about. When your immune system is strong, those immune cells, these like super soldiers in your body, are patrolling your entire body looking for trouble. What kind of trouble? They're looking for cancer cells. So if you think about it, the immune system is one of your best defenses against cancer because these little immune super soldiers are cruising through your body all the time looking for troubled abnormal cells. And if it spots one, it'll actually take it right out. Okay, the other thing that nitric oxide does is it gets oxygen flowing to wherever it needs to go. Just like I told you, the brain, the muscles, the heart, your tissues, wherever you need to heal. All right, so here's the cool part. New research. Scientists from the Karolinska Institute in Sweden found that when people breathe through their nose, okay, right into these paranasal sinuses, the nitric oxide factory, nitric oxide is released into your airways and it gets inhaled right into your lung. Nitric oxide being made goes right down to your lung, and guess what it does? It helps to dilate your airways. I want you to try that now, okay? Exhale. Inhale through your nose. You feel your airways relaxing a little bit and getting more air? That's nitric oxide, all right? And what that does is it gets oxygen circulating better in your lungs and then throughout your body, all right? Here's what they also did at these researchers, okay? They also did something unexpected. They asked people to hum while they were exhaling. Now guess what that did when they were exhaling? So you inhale, lungs dilate with the nitric oxide. Now you exhale and hum. Okay, you get this vibration going. Guess what? That vibration with exhaling caused the nitric oxide levels to go up by 15 times. Breathe in, your paranasal sinuses make nitric oxide, everything relaxes, you get better blood flow. Breathe out and hum, and your nitric oxide goes up 15 times just from humming. That vibration in your face, behind your face, inside your skull, your paranasal sinuses actually help make more nitric oxide travel from your sinuses all throughout into your lungs and also into your body. And by the way, it's not just about airflow. Another study from the University of Buffalo found that nitric oxide helps your brain secrete serotonin and dopamine. We just talked about this. Serotonin and dopamine, these are neurotransmitters, this time made in your brain, that actually improve your mood. They counter depression, improve your mood, make you feel happy, more reward. All right, nitric oxide does that to your brain. Same chemicals that we talked about with oranges and citrus. Now just by breathing the right way and humming, you can actually regulate your mood, increase your motivation, feel a sense of reward. So it's not just about eating to beat disease. Now you can breathe to beat disease and you can hum to beat disease as well. What are some of my practical tips for you? Number one, go for a walk. And when you're walking, breathe through your nose. So you're physically exercising. You need some oxygen. Breathe through your nose. Nitric oxide comes out. Airways dilate. Now you're getting more oxygen throughout your body. And that nitric oxide is also helping to boost your immune system, lower inflammation, all that good stuff, right? And then when you're exhaling, try humming. Hum a song, your favorite tune. And if you're cooking, and you're breathing this way, doing something mindless or whatever, something doesn't require a lot of brain power, just hum. No supplements needed, just you, your breath, few leafy greens, all right, maybe some citrus and some beets. That'll actually all put you in a better mood. So let me pull this all together. We talked about a lot of things in this video. 3 ways to support your mood. 1 from fruit, citrus. 1 from vegetables, spinach. 1 from breathing the right way through your nose and then humming when you exhale. All right. So these are super, super easy ways. They're not cures for depression, but they actually all contribute in their own easy way to put you in a better mood. Everyday choices, how you eat, how you breathe, how you move. These are ways to help build a stronger, more resilient overall platform for your own health, including a more resilient brain, including better mental health. Again, small changes, easy moves, big impact. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more stuff that I'll actually be posting. And then share this video with somebody who you think could need a little boost in terms of their mood. Maybe there'll be something easy for them to actually do and can be helpful to them. As always, I want you to remember my mantra is to love your food, to love your health, and now to love your mood. Dr. Lee out. Hey, if you like that video, then you're going to love this one. Check it out.